Good evening. Today, I want to just briefly talk about the. I was watching this documentary from 60 Minutes that has looked at some of the um, continual, e- um, a continual evaluation of the coronavirus in various Asian and South Pacific countries. And one interesting and unique um, thing I want to bring to our attention today, and you're welcome, of course, to share this video, is is that Thailand has wet markets, and they're doing the same practices as China. Now, right now, we know the president of China and what he did to the doctor that originally reported the the outbreak of the coronavirus here in 2020. He was, of course, that doctor was isolated and he was silenced. But the problem is that in isolation, that doctor died, and China sought to contain and create a new narrative, other than the fact that a a worldwide um, pandemic was looming and getting ready to happen. Well, it has been discovered that not only is China, uh, of course, starting the outbreak, there is still some challenges in China that's still not being reported to the Western world, and in so doing, it causes China to their information, their media to be unreliable. What's going on in China? What's going on with the Chinese citizens? Is anybody there to protect those citizens there in China? Can anyone expose the human rights issues that's going on right now with the Chinese government not wanting, of course, information to be put out about the inability to set up perimeters that will more or less be more preventive and also a cure for the disease for the Chinese people. Who's looking out for the Chinese people there? And entail who's looking out for the people of the world. This is first, even I myself had some reservations about the um, the level of course, seriousness about this disease. But the challenge that we see now is that it things have not subsided, and we see that this is a real situation here. Now, moving on from China, their neighbors, Thailand, the Thais are still allowing their wet markets to have these wild animals. And just to throw this out there so everyone know, here in 2020, in the 21st century, that these deadly viruses come from wild animals. Let me say this again. These deadly viruses come from wild animals. And in Thailand right now, they have wet markets that I'm going to share a video from 60 Minutes. Some of you are probably familiar with the documentation, but 60 Minutes went undercover and went to Thailand and found that they have a lot of wild animals that are in cage, that are afraid, spewing feces and urine or whatever the case is, and throwing out disease. And when human beings come in contact with these diseases, our bodies are not used to that, because that's not something that we were, have been, we haven't been accustomed to. This is not something we have been exposed to these types of diseases that these wild animals are having. And humans are eating these wild animals, these animals that are you know, and I know as a child, you and I know as a child, it was always something fearful to be around a dog or a cat or whatever that was suffering um, from diseases, a diseased animal. And so now those are domesticated animals. Imagine a wild animal. You know, we're afraid of rabies from the wild animals, but just as the effect of rabies, the same is here in the effect of these diseases. These diseases are coming out of China now and from other areas, but mainly China because of their continued insisting to uh, ignore health measures and proper maintenance and protection for human life. Um, we still continue to deal with the fact that uh, that China and now Thailand um, have these wet markets. They need to shut these wet markets down with these wild animals to save the world. We don't know what's brewing right now. There are so many disease brewing, and just like Ebola, which came from an infected animal, which a human being consumed. This COVID-19 is the same thing. These are all diseases coming from these infected animals that human beings are consuming, and then the human being is becoming contagious. They're becoming animalistic and contagious, just like the wild animal was, and and so thereby causing a health problem for their household, their community, their city, state, their country, and now pandemically the world. So today I just want to expose that, and I will be sharing on Facebook a video also have analytical value because it spells out by investigators and reporters who are on site in Thailand and who undercover discovered that Thailand is doing the exact same thing that China was doing, and the Thais are turning a deaf ear and ignoring the seriousness of the coronavirus and allowing these wet markets in Thailand to continue to thrive because they feel that no one knows and they don't care, and there is no guidance there's no oversight. So until all of the nations of the world uh, um, yield to um, preventive health measures to contain this virus, the world is in trouble because of a few people, a few governments that are rebels and who are not non-compliant and who are not team players. So until the big nations get with these small nations and put the pressure on them to be team players, we're all going to continue to see these types of outbreaks and challenges and find ourselves in a situation where we are now, isolated and living in isolation. All right. You all have a wonderful day. Stay informed, stay clean, stay knowledgeable, and protect yourself and your family. And I pray the very best for all. Take care.